I am confused. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, this wasn't supposed to happen. I was in good health, at least I thought so. And in the blink of an eye, I'm having open heart surgery. I had a quadruple bypass. Now, over the last couple of years, Martha and I have been on a low carb diet, and all the doctors that we follow that do this low carb diet say it's heart healthy. It's a good diet to have for your heart. So you see why I'm confused. What happened? Let me back up a little bit first, all the way before 1950. Before 1950, heart disease was a rare occurrence, as well as Alzheimer's and dementia, a whole plethora of chronic diseases, including diabetes. Nowadays, it's said between 51 and 55% of all American adults are either diabetic or pre-diabetic. And pre-diabetic is that little gray area before you flip over to being a full-blown diabetic. Don't you find that confusing? And also, there are so many diet programs on the market. As you heard, Martha and I are low carb, but there's also the DASH diet or the Mediterranean diet, a vegan diet, a vegetarian diet, the Jenny Craig diet. But all of them say that their diets are the right diet for you. Now, over these last couple of years, Martha and I have done our homework. We've done lots of study on the internet. We've watched lots of videos. We do internet searches to find out about keto and how it affects your health. I even do Google alerts where I get fresh data that comes in. If there's a new article on keto and heart health, then I get a copy of it. I want to know what the most current thinking is. But over these last couple of years, three things in our study have jumped out at me. And those three things are, number one, and I really feel strongly about this, I really do. Sugar is a toxic in our society today. Absolutely a toxin. Back in the turn of the century, 1900, the average American consumes 17 pounds of sugar every year. Nowadays, the average American consumes 150 pounds of sugar every year. It's in almost everything you eat. That can't be good for us. And no wonder diabetes is really on the rise. Well, the second thing that jumps out at me, and in our research, is that and it happened right around 1950 again, is that the food manufacturers wanted to extend the shelf life of their products. So they came up with ways of processing food or ultra processing food. And they added lots and lots of additives to extend that shelf life. Well, it happens to correlate exactly with the increase in all of the chronic diseases that we are now seeing almost at an exponential rate. Something's wrong. Something's confusing here. Something's not right. Well, the third thing that I want to point out to you is that Martha and I have discovered real food looks like real food. You won't find real food in the middle of a grocery store. In the middle of the grocery store, that's where you're going to find all the bags and boxes and cans and bottles. Real food is found around the outside edges of a grocery store. It's going to be in the dairy department or the meat department or the produce department. You'll recognize it. Now, it's just been a little over 3 weeks that I woke up in the intensive care unit. And I had needles in all my, both of my arms. I had giant tubes coming out of my chest. And I felt like I had been hit by a train. This is something I wouldn't wish on anyone. So my story, what I want you to take away today is those three things. Avoid sugar at all costs. In fact, I'll give you a little analogy. Did you know that rats like the taste of rat poison? Avoid sugar. It is our rat poison in our society today. Stay away from all the bags and boxes and cans and bottles. And fellow Toastmasters, you know what real food is. You'll recognize it when you see it. Mr. Toastmaster.
All right. Thank you, George. And yeah, and I definitely agree with you that a lot of the real foods that we can find are in the produce section and on the outside. All of the processed food is probably good to stay away from. And you really are an inspiration for all of us on how quickly you've recovered and are back up giving speeches 3 weeks later. That's amazing. It really is.
Well, and I point out that we think my keto diet set the stage for me for a fast recovery.
Definitely.
I just don't know if 2 years of keto can offset 70 years of the standard American diet.
Exactly. But at least you're doing a lot better now.